Welcome to another episode of Inside the Artist with your host, John J. Ruppert. Today is Friday, December 1st, 2023. Once again, we've listened to our viewers' requests to find out what their favorite renowned author, poet, and artist, Emiliano Martin, has been up to recently. So we stopped in to see him. Mr. Martin, how are you, sir?
Wonderful, John. It's good to see you again.
Mr. Martin, can you please let your fans and our viewers know out there what you've been up to creative-wise since our last interview?
It's been a long time, but throughout the year, I've been involved in a lot of activities. Even though, professionally speaking, I am retired from my job, I keep a busy schedule. So, I've been writing, I've been doing woodwork with my paintings and my pyrography techniques. So I've been pretty busy. Besides that, I had those personal issues with health that I've been trying to take care of. And one day at a time, here we are. But to answer your question in a more specific way, in my writings throughout this year, I have been able to publish 4 books.
Wow.
3 of poetry and 1 with pyrographic designs I've been working on for a long time. So I've been pretty busy.
I believe that's book number 3, the Pyrography?
Indeed, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, can we see some of the books?
Absolutely. The Decorations for Most Occasions is the name of the book. And in this book, I have pictures of all the pyrography artwork
Oh,
I've been
wow.
working on. I mean, I can go on and on and on. But I got all kind of subjects. I got themes for sports, have themes for Christmas, Halloween, Easter. I try to cover all the elements that come through my mind and my mood. And that is one of the books I put out this year. The other books I was able to put out are, this one is in Spanish, it's called Danza de Sueños, which means something like a dance of dreams. It's been successful so far.
And what type of book is that?
This is poetry.
Oh, okay.
This is poetry in Spanish.
Oh, nice.
In Spanish. And then there was another book I did publish through 2023. It's called Over Clouds of Cotton.
Oh, nice title.
I have poems in here that in English that people did like it. I had about 3 poetry presentations for just this book. And I must say, I'm not the one to talk about myself like that, but I must say I was very successful and very proud in reading some of the material I have in this book. I did publish, it was in the beginning of the summer, another book which is called Selected Bilingual Poems. And this is a book that contains a lot of material that I have written over the years in one language and the other language. So actually the bilingual subject of this book is in Spanish and in English. When you open the book, one page is in one language and the same poem is in the other language. So people look at the pages of the book like if you were looking to a mirror. In one side is English, in one side is Spanish. And it's also a book that I've been lucky so far.
Would you care to share a few poems for us, English and Spanish, from that book?
Oh dear, I have to make a selection. I will try to pick up a short one because I don't want to... Words in Captivity is the name of this poem. Appears on page 92 of this book.
And I believe that's the title of one of your original books, correct?
Yes, indeed. I have written so many poems that over the years, I forgot what I did or when I did it. Although I do keep a list of poems just for my own information to indicate when I wrote it and the title and blah blah blah. I did say page 92, so I will go for it. Words in captivity. Sometimes there are words in captivity, unable to escape, unable to surface when I use my pen. Words in captivity, hiding, afraid, surrounded by anger, while sunk in frustration all throughout my brain. Oh, yes, there are words in captivity I want to attain. With determination and a gentle gesture, I rush to the rescue when I write a poem again and again. It is then, when at that moment, I do feel words in captivity like pouring rain. Words in captivity, I am proud to claim for this verse.
Wonderful. Could you read the Spanish version?
Oh dear, I don't know if the audience would be.
So they can hear the difference.
The title Words in Captivity in Spanish indicates palabras cautivas. A veces hay palabras cautivas inherentes a la fuga, incapaces de brotar de la tinta de mi pluma. En cautiverio, a hurtadillas, con miedo, rodeadas de soberbia, mientras bucean frustradas en el fondo de mis sesos. Por supuesto, hay palabras cautivas que quiero rescatar. Con determinación y ademanes me lanzo a su encuentro cuando escribo un verso de nuevo y de nuevo. Es entonces que, al momento, siento palabras cautivas como lluvia torrencial. Palabras que tengo el gusto de adjudicar para este verso.
Bravo.
That is the way it sounds in Spanish.
Nice.
And I was lucky when I did the translation of that poem because I was able to match what I say in one language in the other. Sometimes it's very difficult in poetry to be able to find the balance, and the poet or the translator have to make adjustments and changes. In this particular poem, I go boom, boom, and it came out nice.
Now, were the poems originally written in Spanish or English?
The first take was in English.
Mm-hmm.
And it was later on that I decided, oh, well, I'm going to do it in Spanish, see what it sounds. So I worked on it and I was very careful trying to be identical to the original thought in Spanish. And it worked out. I was lucky. It doesn't happen all the time.
Can we hear some from Over Clouds of Cotton?
Indeed. Over Clouds of Cotton. Again, I got so many pages and so many books, and I will look for one that is short. For a while, it appears on page 50. It often happens in any open reading. The poems we share take in turn in a circle from chair to chair, with voices rejoicing in the rhyming flare, sequestered by time, surely remain in the air, full and all to smile, at least for a while. The reason I wrote this poem is because when people go to an open reading and they sit around an open reading where the poems are shared among all the poets in the room, they sit around the circle, they wait their turn for the chair, and sometimes it's boring, sometimes people are anxious to wait for their own turn. But there is an atmosphere in the air of what is the next poem going to be all about. And I wrote a simple piece.
Nice. In reference to your Pyrography, I noticed that you have some samples of your wood art. Do you share?
Oh, absolutely.
Care to share some samples with us?
I work on Pyrography doing several themes.
Mm-hmm.
This happened to be a theme of nature.
Oh, wow.
Very simple. I got my deer, I got my tree, I got the sun, I got the clouds, I got the birds, and it's something to do with nature. In the sports mood, because I also go to sports sessions, being in the Philadelphia area.
Oh, wow, the Phillies.
Phillies in my mind. Being also in the Philadelphia area, I have something about the Eagles.
Oh, wow.
Philadelphia Eagles. I come out, it's got a little string to hang on the wall and whatever. This happened to be another subject for the Eagles. Of course, the Philadelphia 76ers.
The Sixers, the basketball team.
This one I did in March of 2023, this year.
Oh, wow.
And of course, I am a soccer, not fanatic, but very addicted to it. The Philadelphia Union soccer team. I did something for, also done in April of 2023.
Oh,
It's
wow.
in the back of the plate. I did that. Actually, I have done 3 of these.
Really?
Yeah, because
different variations or around the same?
Just about the same, because I remember this one I kept for myself. It's my private collection, but I did show it to a friend of mine some time ago, and I would like to have one. So identical. He says, "Oh, I want the same thing." I would, okay. So I duplicated this.
Oh,
and then I did another one that I changed a couple of things around, and I also provided the plate to somebody I knew. So actually I did 3 of these.
Oh, wow.
I also made this.
Well, that's a pretty one. Kind of like springtime, I guess?
Springtime, it's a flower. I did that. Actually, I did it in May 2023.
Oh, wow.
This year.
Yeah, spring.
Back in May. It's very nice.
That's pretty.
It's very easy to do. And then, of course, during the Halloween season, I have to do a lot.
Yeah.
Actually, I did a lot of Halloween subjects because it's a very popular.
Yeah, Halloween's amazing. Yeah.
And everybody wants, can I have one? Can you do this? Can you do? So I did several types, like Halloween season.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
This one was very popular. Actually, I have done 3 of these.
Wow.
4, at least 3, but probably 4, and people did like it. I also did another variation like that.
Oh, that's pretty neat.
It's actually this was done in October of 2023.
And the cool thing about most of them, there's no dates on them, so people can use them, for years and years.
This one is mine, so I put the date and my signature in the back so that I know
when you did it.
I did, because believe me, I do so many of these
that
I forget. But when people ask me to do one, I don't put anything here. So
unless they ask you if they want the date. Like it'd be like a baby's first Halloween or something.
Absolutely. And then I did another one. A dear friend of mine gave me this piece of wood. And I didn't know what to do with it. So I ended up Halloween.
That came out great, yeah.
I did a couple of apples, a couple of pumpkins, and it was easy to do and a lot of fun, of course. So this one is also a classic. And now that we are approaching Christmas, I have this cutout.
That's nice, yeah.
This is a prefab cutout. I bought this in the store, and then I painted over what I thought was applicable for the season. And it's typical.
That's nice, yeah.
And then sometimes I let myself go with subjects.
Cross.
Some people may not appreciate it.
I know you did mention before to us that you do get a lot of requests for crosses.
A lot. I don't have one of the crosses right now.
And also the Star of David, I believe you get a lot of requests
David, I have done. I did at least 6.
Wow.
At least 6. And one of my neighbors around here, he ordered me to do one for him, for his brother, for a friend of his brother. So they were from the Jewish faith, and they did like the Star of David. So I think I have done 6 or 7 of them. And crosses like this, oh my God. I have done, I don't have them with me right now, but I have done at least a dozen.
Wow.
The crosses are very easy to do because it's a cross. Can't go wrong. And then the background, I can paint any color. But I think I have done about a dozen of crosses already, and they are very popular.
Now, the woodworking books, the 3 that you've done, in addition to all your other books, where can people find them to purchase them?
The books are found in the internet, because the way I produce these books is not through a house that provides the books to the
stores.
To the stores. They put them in the internet, and if people are interested, they can look for it and ask for the book in the internet. There's a problem. Some people, old people like me, do not believe in buying through the internet. They still believe that there are scams, and there are scams. I mean, there are scams everywhere in life.
Yeah.
But most of the houses are reputable houses, like Barnes and Noble. They sell my books through the internet. People can obtain my books in Barnes and Noble by going through the internet. If you type my name, Emiliano Martin, author of books or something like that, and the internet will offer a number of houses, legal, that come up with a book.
Like Amazon,
and they mail it to you, or you can pick it up in the store. And that happened in Amazon, that happened in Barnes and Noble, that happens in the publisher itself, lulu.com. They're there, and many other places. They even sell them in Europe.
Wow.
I have people who have bought my books in Italy.
Well, I know a lot of your books I found on eBay as well.
In eBay?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
For a lot of money. So people are buying them and making some cash on them. Yeah.
That's what eBay does. People try to buy them and then try to sell them. But
I'm pretty sure, like you mentioned about, people of a certain age don't like doing stuff on the internet. My son worked for Barnes and Noble, so I'm pretty sure those people can go into Barnes and Noble and request a book, and then have the book delivered to Barnes and Noble if they don't feel safe about doing anything online.
Yeah, they can do that.
Just where they can purchase a book there too. They
can do that too. Yeah, that's another way to do it.
Now, in addition to the artwork you've been doing, because I know you've done 3 volumes, are you itching to do a 4th volume?
The way I'm going, I may have come up. I probably come up with another volume probably next year. Who knows, or the following year, because I mean, just this year itself, I have done about probably 40 pieces like that, just this year, and I have already started another set of items like this. Not necessarily this type, but many. I think I have about 20 already prepared.
Wow.
Not enough to make a book, but with 20 items like that, it's enough to put an exhibit in the library or whatever.
And just so people are clear, when they purchase any one of your 3 books of the Pyrography, what's inside the books, in addition to the actual photos, you also give explanations of what the photos are, correct? Yeah. What the artwork is?
Yeah. Yes.
So you get to see art, and you get to see like a little history lesson of
It's a lot of fun doing it. And so far, people who have obtained this kind of cartoons, they seem to be pleased. And that pleases me as well.
Now, I know since we're inching into the holiday season, we've been getting a lot of requests about you reading some of your holiday poems. Would you like to read some for us?
Now we are approaching Christmas, and Christmas is always a season for fun, inspiration, memories. Christmas is Christmas. But when the time comes around this time of the year, there is a poem that I always, if I could find it, there is a poem. I have written several poems about Christmas, but there is a poem that I always read at this time. It is called One More Year. And what I mention in the poem is basically what happened to most of us. And at last, we are in December to forget or to remember all of the events we went through. One more year of reforms, substitutions, ups and downs, or unfulfilled resolutions that we thought of way back then. One more year, day by day, in the struggle for survival, fighting back every which way. Commitments, new approaches with success, disappointments, some achievements, drops of sweat. Old ideas full of rust, roads we walked covered with dust. One more year of filling in page after page as we write our life's book. One page at a time, we have reached the final chapter, hoping that what you desire around Christmas may come true. I look forward to this season, and I know that you do too. Hope you have a Merry Christmas and the best to all of you.
Wonderful. When did you write that? Do you remember?
In 1990,
Okay.
it was published in a newspaper that used to be available in the northeast of Philadelphia. It was called Ben, no.
The News Gleaner?
No, it was actually a newspaper. It was in Ben Salem, not in.
Okay.
It was the Ben Salem Advisor.
Oh,
That
wow.
was the name of the paper, and the paper is no longer.
Yeah, it's a shame. Like probably 98% of the papers we grew up with.
As a matter of fact,
Do you have a copy of it?
in the paper, I have a copy of the paper.
Oh, cool.
I did cut it out for my own souvenir. But as a matter of fact, what I was going to say, the editor of that paper at that time is one of your friends, Mr. Gustav.
Oh, Fred Gussoff, yeah. Oh, Fred's a man. He went on to do the Northeast Times for years.
At that time of my life, the office of the paper used to be very close to my house. I could physically walk. And he was very kind to me. One day I walked in the office and he received me and he even took a picture of me. I don't know why. And it was an interesting character.
Yeah, Fred was a great editor.
Yeah, this poem was published in that paper in 1990 or 1989 or something like that. And it's one of these poems that I did put aside because poetry is poetry is poetry. Some people like it, some people don't. Some people hate it. So I didn't pay much attention to it, but it's over the years I do use it as a form of a Christmas greeting to friends and neighbors, because it is a poem that applies to everybody in life.
Now, have you ever, outside of what we're doing now, have you ever recorded that?
I don't remember. I have to check my list. I'm not a clever individual, but so many things I have done, especially lately, that I don't even remember. But I do keep a list of things that I have done. So I could answer your question
Nice.
once I go back to my files, and because believe me, there are so many things that I have done. I've done a lot of recordings. I've done readings, videos with yourself. It is. It's been a lot.
Mr. Martin, we understand that the poem you just read, you actually wrote that in Spanish too? I know our viewers are going to want to hear that. Can you please share that with us?
Indeed, I would not mind at all. The poem was written in English first. My frame of mind was in English. And then eventually I did a translation of my own poem in Spanish. I know that it sounds like it should have been backwards. Well, my mind works sometimes in English, sometimes in Spanish. So the poem in Spanish came after.
Awesome.
In Spanish, un año más, which means one more year. Well, un año más. Y por fin ya estamos en diciembre, para olvidar o recordar todo lo que nos ha ocurrido durante el año. Un año más de reformas, sustituciones, cosas arriba y otras abajo, o resoluciones sin salida, cuáles fueron ocurridas tiempo atrás. Un año más, día a día, en la tarea de sobrepasar la lucha diaria de aquí para allá. Acometidos, nuevas empresas con éxito, desilusiones y gotas de sudor. Viejas ideas corroídas, caminos que hemos andado cubiertos de polvo. Un año más de rellenar página tras página, tal y como apuntamos en el diario de nuestra vida. De hoja en hoja, hemos llegado al capítulo final, a la espera de lo que deseamos y nos llegue de por fin en Navidad. Tengo ilusión para las fiestas y sé que también ustedes. Espero que disfrutemos de una buena Navidad y con lo mejor para todos ustedes. Felices fiestas.
Nice. In addition to all your work you spoke to us about, we understand you also do a podcast?
I'm involved in a podcast. It's a project that I started about a year ago. I didn't mean to get into it. It was just a test. And the test has provided the opportunity to share more and more and more. I do audios with my poetry and stories that I come up with. Most of them are poems of my own and or reading of the lyrics of a song. A song that I personally like and I enjoy. I don't do readings of songs that I don't like. I have to like the song. And since I love music and I love songs, the list is endless. The list of songs to be put in the air. I don't have to tell anybody. It goes on and on and on. So one thing led to another, and this year in 2023, I think I have put out 100
Wow.
either poems or lyrics of a well-known song that I read the lyrics and I present in the podcast. The podcast is at an international level because now in the internet everything is everywhere. I have listeners. I'm fortunate to have listeners in England, Spain, Italy. I just found out that in Cyprus and even in Singapore, Argentina, Venezuela, of course, the United States is the leading place with listeners. But I've been very fortunate. People seem to listen to it, and they want more and more, and this is becoming a job. I mean, there's so much I can do. I'm involved for this and this and blah, blah, blah. I'm retired from my work, so but now this is just becoming work, and I'm not sure if I want to continue that route. But I must say, I love it. I enjoy it. I have done a lot of songs. I do the Beatles. I do Peter and Gordon. I can do Bob Dylan. I can do all the Spanish songs. My repertoire is very, very flexible, and that's what I've been doing on 2023.
And what we will do is at the end of the video, we will put in the link to your podcast. This way people want to listen to it. In addition to your podcast of your audio work, as far as the songs you just mentioned, our viewers also know, and for those that don't, the small minority, on our YouTube page here, you and I have collaborated on a lot of songs.
Oh,
So
yes.
they can also go on this page here
Yes.
and see all the different work that we've done together
Oh yeah, you've been very kind to me
with your
because,
songs.
when I send you something, you act almost immediately, and I don't want to be a load on somebody else's life. Like in your case, you are busy as well. You write your own songs, you prepare your own videos, and so on and so forth. But you've been very kind to me, and I do appreciate that.
Yeah, the work comes out great. I said every time I post something, we get hundreds of views on your songs you do,
Oh, it is. We'll be lucky.
which is nice. Now, with the holidays coming up, like we mentioned, and with us coming back to see you, what do you want to tell your fans out there to keep on requesting information about you? What would you like to say to them in the holiday season?
Well, it is standard to say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. I wish everyone good health to enjoy what we have in front of us, because with good health and a good spirit, we can put up with anything that comes to us. If you enjoy what you are watching, I appreciate that very much on behalf of John Ruppert, who is the producer and the host of this particular video, as well as many others he has in his own YouTube. I wish everyone health and a Merry, Merry Christmas.
Now, I know before we go, I understand that you are currently working on 2 upcoming books.
Well,
At least 2?
yeah, I happen to be working on 2 books right now, because I'm finishing up, well, not finishing up because I still have a long way to go, but I'm going over a manuscript I have prepared in the English language. And I have another collection of poems that I have been writing down in Spanish. So when they will appear in the form of a book, I do not know. The English manuscript is more advanced. I'm almost getting there. I already have an index, and I know the number of poems I'm going to put out in a book. But at the same time, more ideas keep coming up, and I have to put on it. I just have to say to myself, that's enough. Because I keep going and going and going. And now with the podcast, I have requests of people that I would like to hear this, I would like to do this, I would like, wait a second, and I have to make up a list of, make a plan for next week. I know some people requested the reading of the lyrics of this American group from way back in the 50s and early 60s, Everly Brothers.
Oh, wow.
Everly Brothers were a very popular
Wake Up Little Susie.
So, well, yeah,
My mother loved that song,
well,
yeah.
they have that's one. But there are people who like Everly Brothers, and they would like to hear the lyrics read in poetry. Other people, not the band, because there's nothing to the band, but requested if I could do Strangers in the Night, for example.
Oh, Frank Sinatra.
Well, it's a nice song.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a classic. Strangers in the Night, blah, 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 blah. And it's And I also know the story behind that song, which is fascinating.
What was the story? Do you have a short version you like to share with
Yeah,
us?
I'll give you the short version. It's a long version. The story is that the lyrics for that song have to be written twice.
Wow.
Because the first set of lyrics written for the music that came before the song, people don't remember, but, well, especially the young people don't remember these things. But the melody showed up in a movie before it became a song by Frank Sinatra.
Oh.
It was a melody in a song, and the melody was beautiful. And somebody said, "Wouldn't it be nice if we put words to that melody?" Because all they knew is na 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 na. I said, "Yeah, well, who's going to write?" So they hired a poet, and the poet wrote the lyrics for the melody. And they said, "Now we need a big star." They looked for Frank Sinatra, and Frank Sinatra said, "Crappy lyrics, I don't know, sing that." So, "No, don't go away, don't go." So they hired two lyricists, two poets who work on, and then Frank Sinatra finally said, "Okay, I'll take it." Yeah. So the things happen in life, you know. So it's beautiful, and now it's a classic, "Strangers in the Night."
Have you recorded any Christmas songs yet?
Again, I don't remember.
Yeah.
I have to check my list, what I have done. Or if I do have, I probably have no more than two. Because, you know, Christmas, people only think of Christmas when it is Christmas time.
Yeah.
The rest of the year we are preoccupied with vacations or what to do, what not to do. We don't think of Christmas until, it's already December.
Yeah.
So I may have two songs I have read the lyrics of. I know one in Spanish I have already done. And as a matter of
I believe you and I did, I believe you did Feliz Navidad, didn't you?
Yeah, probably.
Yes, I think you did, yeah. I remember seeing that on our page.
Classic.
Yeah.
Very simple lyrics, because when the song was written, it was a very simple, na 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 na, and it repeats itself, but it works.
Yeah.
Because of the rhythm and the music and
Same with the Beatles. Their songs are so short, but it's just the melody that gets you.
The melody, the Beatles have.
And the harmony.
Beautiful song. It's a song I'm going to do this weekend, as a matter of fact, for the podcast. The song was made popular by Peter and Gordon, but the song was written by Paul McCartney with the help of John Lennon. And by the time the Beatles started to sing that song, I'm not going to give you the details right now because I have to put it out this weekend. I'm going to send it to the podcast. And by the time the Beatles are the Beatles, well, they couldn't catch up with Peter and Gordon. They already did the hit.
Wow.
And the song was written by Paul McCartney. People may not know, but Paul McCartney used to be the boyfriend of the sister of Peter, the Peter and Gordon duo. Oh, yeah. They knew each other very well. Peter used to go to Paul McCartney's apartment, and Paul McCartney used to go, blah, blah, blah. You know, they had communications. And Paul McCartney, being one of the Beatles, said, "Oh, yeah, I write songs all the time, you know." And he wrote a song, and next thing you know, Peter and Gordon are singing.
It's a shame that John Lennon didn't fall in love with the guy's sister. This way he wouldn't have had to run into Yoko and break up the band.
Yeah, well, things happen in life.
Poor Yoko. Mr. Martin, once again, from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you for your time, your creativity, and your friendship over all these years. I know I speak for all your fans and all of our viewers out there saying how lucky we have been that you have allowed us to be a part of your never-ending, and it is never-ending, creative world. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, my dear friend, until we meet again.
Likewise, John.
Inside the Artist wishes to thank our viewers for their continued support, and our special guest today, renowned author, poet, and artist Emiliano Martin. To purchase his wonderful books, please visit lulu.com, amazon.com, barnesandnoble.com, or simply search Emiliano Martin on the web. This was recorded, directed, produced, and hosted by John J. Ruppert, December 1st, 2023. Don't forget to visit our channel, youtube.com JJ Promotions, to see more interviews as well as our previous interviews and other content. Be safe and be creative.